Good morning, welcome back to Vice Grip Garage. Today is day one of sick week. It's 5 tracks, 5 days, all of Florida, and hundreds of miles of driving. We've got the independent Chevelle going and the Monte Carlo. Well, it's bright and early. We're just packing up, getting all of our stuff into both the cars. Problem number one, we locked the Monte Carlo last night, first time ever, and did not realize that the keys don't unlock the doors. Yep, we're those folks right now. So we're waiting on a call from a locksmith. Hopefully we don't miss the driver's meeting. And then we're right to racing after that, hopefully. So here's the plan. Chad and I are just gonna take Independence over to the track, get through the driver's meeting, and then the girls are waiting for the locksmith, and then they'll take the Monte Carlo to the track, and then Chad will have 32 seconds to get that ready to go run. Should be fine-ish. I actually have to bleed the brakes in the Chevelle, because believe it or not, I know it's weird, but I have no brakes currently. So got to do that while we wait anyway, so should all work out. Hopefully, we'll see. I think the fast cars are running first, so we've got a little bit of time. Probably this afternoon we'll run, I'm guessing. Track closes at 3. It's hot at 9. So we had till 7:30 to get all of our stuff out of our trucks and everything on the cars, because you cannot touch your truck or trailer after 7:30 today. If you work on your rig or need parts or tools or whatever, it has to be in your vehicle, or there's a lot of people pulling a trailer. This is our setup right here. Old Coleman caboose, 1982. And then I built this rack. You guys can see that over on the Vice Grip Lodge channel if you want, but these will be our daily driving tires. We've already got the radials on it. Just didn't want to switch out this morning. And then fuel and tools, and this is full of like a jack stands, other stuff like that. But track is full. 340 some cars registered, plus sick ward, which is people cruising along. So you ready? Driver's meeting, should we get over there?
Let's do it.
Day one of sick week 2022, and all of a sudden the Monte Carlo keys don't want to work. So we got this nice gentleman here helping us get into the car. Chad and Derek had to take Independence and get to the driver's meeting. Haley and I are just waiting.
Please give him a round of applause, because he was caught on the fence. Well, you said Alabama had no snow, so you didn't have any reason for coming. He says he's good, okay. Well, you dumped your drink over earlier, so you may not be that good. Next to him, the man that I'm sure a lot of you know from drag and drive events. He used to work for PDRA and NMCA and NMRA. Lonnie Grimm. He is the man on the ground, our competition director.
Just finished up the driver's meeting. I got a lot to catch you up on Independence here. So the big news here, fellers and fellettes, is yesterday the independent Chevelle and the Monte Carlo both legitimately passed tech. We were in line at 11 and we got through around 6. It was quite a long day, but hey, it was worth it. We got through. We don't have to fix anything. That's awesome. This is going to be the Chevelle's first time down the drag track ever. And of course, down the highway. Other than the time I drove it home in its original configuration, this car was never meant to be drag racing or road tripping, and that's what's fun about this. I'm not trying to set any records or set the world on fire or even win. Our goal is to just get to the end of the week with a running, driving car, especially the independent Chevelle, which was scheduled to go to the crusher, basically, right? So we're just out here having fun and trying to show that you don't have to have a $200,000 6 or 7 second car to come out and do these events and have fun. It's going to be a blast. But speaking of 6 second cars, there's 3 or 4 guys out here. There's 8 pro mods, but there's 3 or 4 guys out here that want to run 5 or 6 second passes every day of the week this week. It's going to be incredible. So I'm going to try to get you guys some coverage there too. Right now we're waiting for the Monte Carlo to get back here. We got to run to the parts store, pick up another set of sparkulators. She is running a little bit rich on the pump gas, fouled up the plugs I got here. We got to bleed the brakes, and then we got to wait for our class to be called. We still don't know what we're going to go in, dial your own, or what. Car is tech to a 10. I'm limited to a 10 because of the cage and a couple other things on the vehicle. So we're going to take it really easy this week, and whatever it runs today, we'll try to improve on it a little bit. But again, I'm not looking to push this thing or try to set any records, so to speak. Got some new sparkulators dropped in. Now we'll throw some of this X98 in here. Jet's throwing on his slicks here. These have been holding up pretty good. We probably got, I don't know, 60 miles on them, but they are rubbing. Guy went a little far when I heated up the springs. I dropped the front down to the bump stops, and I should have loaded the rear with some weight first, then done the rear. And yeah, I made a rookie mistake, and now when we load tires and tools, she's rubbing. But I do have the air shocks that used to be in Independence sitting at Kevin's place in Gainesville, and we're going to be right there racing. So we might Tuesday night, I think, throw some air shocks in the back of this, and also the flex plate or torque converter is starting to make a questionable noise that we're going to continue to ignore as much as possible. Jessica's making it official. By the way, Jessica is my co-pilot on the ride. Haley over there is Chad's co-pilot. So plan is they're going to do all the driving on the street, I think. That's what I'm going to try to talk them into. So, you know, Guy can just relax and maybe get into the chips and cold snacks and stuff like that. But it's going to be a lot of fun. First time for us away from the kids since when?
For both of us being away, it's probably been 4 years.
4 years?
But then was even one night. So
Yeah.
This is my first trip ever away from them. Ever.
Hey, we did pretty good.
Yeah.
It's hard to get the curvatures when they're the longer flavor, but that'll work. So Kevin already ran today. What'd you run today?
790.
Nice.
Yep, first pass. We didn't blow the head gaskets out of it, so that's a very good thing. We're packed up, ready to hit the road. But
Very
wanted to
cool.
come down here and check on old Independence before we hit the road.
Yep, so Kevin came down and set up our trans brake, and you're gonna do some magic there to try to help save the rear.
Yeah, so this thing makes a lot of torque. My thought is even just foot braking it potentially could rip the axles out of it. So we're gonna use the trans brake at a very low RPM, and then as soon as he lets go of the trans brake button, it's going to pull out 10 degrees of timing, hold that amount of timing out for about a second, and then after 1 second, it's gonna start ramping that timing back in. Hopefully, that will make it softer than foot braking it with full timing. That's the idea.
Right, because even foot braking, we'd be up on the converter and all the torques would be there.
Yep,
so.
yep. Now, it may go still blasted off first pass. Bradenton is super sticky, but hopefully not. I do think we maybe go try it down at the top end of the track just to see if it's a complete dud. Because ideally it doesn't spin down there on the asphalt, and then you know it'll just mosey on down the track, go down the track. Because this thing's got enough power to exceed your 10 flat legal roll bar.
Yeah.
And like you don't have an NHRA license yet, so you can't really go faster than that anyways.
I do actually.
Do you?
Yeah.
Well, never mind.
I'm good to 750.
Attaboy.
But this is not good.
No.
Fast.
No, not good for 750.
Yeah.
So we also did a little tweaking on the blending of the fuels. So we wired in a flex fuel sensor. And if you guys remember, this is a little bit of a complicated system, but it makes really good sense for this type of drag and drive event. So the tank inside the pump here feeds the small cell, and then this main pump feeds the engine. So the idea is, as you get closer to the track, or as Derek gets closer to the track, he'll cut this pump off with a toggle switch we wired to interrupt this fuel pump. This pump will drain, or this tank will drain down, and then you refill this tank with your race fuel, leave that pump off, and then it only runs on the ethanol race fuel, and the flex fuel sensor plus my tables in the tune blend everything to where it is happy on race fuel or ethanol race fuel or pump gas.
A lot of automagical stuff.
A lot of digicals and automagicals and all those fancy words.
Yeah, so if you guys remember on when I drove the Mustang, we were constantly having to try to get our mix right, stop way out before the track to try to get our ethanol right. This completely eliminates that. Basically flip the switch, run this down, top it off when I get to the track, do the thing, done.
And if you forget, you can just siphon it out like we did a few minutes ago, and then just refill that tank with the racing ethanol. Should be good to go.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Kevin. Appreciate it a ton. And again, you guys can go over to his channel and check out a ton of work that he's done on this thing.
Yeah, we
getting it dialed in.
I didn't video the last little bit of it because it was such a thrash to get it done and get it here. But yeah, it was a mad thrash so far. We had a good trip in our car. Hopefully this one continues the trend and we'll make it to Orlando tonight and have us a good time.
We're gonna head up to the top end of the track here and just try to sneak in a quick run and see how it does.
That didn't feel super aggressive. Like,
it spun, but
it wasn't like, yeah!
Yeah, with track prep, I think that might be okay. Well, we just made it in line. We're actually third to last or whatever, fourth to last. We're in the end, is what I'm saying. Someone just oiled down the track. I think unfortunately it was Cooper in his new little Mustang. So we are backed up. This line goes all the way up there around the tower and back. So we're probably gonna be in line for, I don't know, hour and a half probably, staying in the shade.
I'm like gonna take a nap, I think.
Nap time? That's not a bad idea actually. We'll get there though. This is the C class, the final group of the day. right, first run on the Monte Carlo. What'd you run, dude? 15.3. Nice. 90 miles an hour. I actually was not expecting this car to go that fast. So 18.2 stock, it went 15 with just a blower, basically. And you spun a little off the line, right?
Yeah, really. Pretty much until it shifted, and then it caught and started going. But it was, yeah, spinning all the way through first gear.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad for Chad because we didn't really have a game plan. We also didn't even check tire pressure. It's probably high.
That's the
because
farthest I've driven it. It's a quarter mile there.
Yeah, that's most he's driven the car. We didn't think it would spin the drag radials, to be honest. So he went through the water and it actually did a burnout. And then you're probably thinking, oh, okay, well now, hopefully it doesn't spin off the line, but it did. But now we know tomorrow. We'll drop some tire pressure, maybe a little bit longer burnout, try to heat them up. And this thing might go 14s because 60 foot was 242, so you can see right there. That's got some traction. The guy next to you. What was next to you? You remember?
It was like a pickup truck.
Pickup truck, yeah. So we can prove that. And then I forgot where I threw my slip. There it is. 1098 at 120, 178 60 foot. We can make huge improvements there because remember, we're pulling a bunch of timing the second I let go of that button. It pulls 10 degrees out and holds, and you can see that it's doing its job. It's taking care of the 10 bolt, but I think we can make that a little less aggressive and get a little bit closer to a 10, but we're limited to a 10 with the cage and everything in here. So now I've got to change classes because we're in 1150 class, dial your own. So we're gonna have to turn the slip in, switch over to what's called bullseye. They draw a number every day and you have to try to run as closest to that number. Today was a 52, so it could be an 852, 952, 1052, 1952, whatever. But the closest to that number they draw wins. It's kind of a class just to go have fun. It's the only class that I'm gonna be able to run the Chevelle in this week without massively detuning it. And again, like I say, we're here just for fun. So we're gonna start packing up, get the trailer on the Chevelle and make tracks. We gotta get to Orlando. And rain's headed our way, so that's going to be interesting. Taking a break, you know, side of the road. No, actually, I just ran out of gas. Transmission is really hot, dragging the diaper on the ground. But the good news is, hey Chad, watch out. The good news is the trailer's pulling really nice. Engine's staying nice and cool. Oil pressure is fantastic. I got some of that X98 on the trailer here. We're literally 4.7 miles from the fuel station, but you know, this is just drag and drive stuff. So throw in a couple gallons quick, get to the gas station, keep going. Oil's splashing him up on the windshield there. I think my power steering's leaking. I had to go look in a second. When I pulled in here, I didn't have any power steering, so I guess that would make sense. I got a top off here. This should be probably 11, 12 gallons, something like that. And mixed with that X98. Hopefully we're still not gonna foul a plug, but we'll find out. Got this full too. This does not get good fuel mileage, believe you me. So we're gonna try to just squish in what we can here for sure. Definitely power steering. Got a huge mess going on here. I'm not sure what happened. Cap is really tight. Boy, that's hot. I'm gonna try to clean that up and get the cap off. I'm worried there might be nothing I could do. It might be an extended RPM thing, because we're cruising 25 to 3,000 RPM constantly. So it might just be building so much pressure in there. Blew the O-ring out on that canister or something, but I'll clean it up and see what we got going on. Good news is we're only 27 miles into like 100 and something. So I got to get all the way to Orlando, so that's good. So we're at our first checkpoint for tonight. Had to get a picture in front of the California Zephyr thing. What a beautiful sunset. There's Bailey's ice cream truck. Oh, trailer burnout. Nice, been a lot of those today. Got a picture with the Monte as well. Jessica's working on the instructions. We got to go to Old Town now.
Yep, that's the next one.
So every day we have a very specific route.
And I think that we don't get this until after you turn in your slip,
Your
right?
time slip, yep. So you have no
So you don't
idea
know.
until you turn in your time slip and you get that route and then you follow it to the T, and then there's gonna be cars. Actually, you can see a bunch of locals out right now. It's really fun. So off to the next we go. Transmission's getting a little warm now, about 190, 195. We're just gonna keep cruising about 60. That seems to be the happy mile per hour. We have rubbed a couple times here, but we can adjust the quarter panel. There we go. And you know, they'll hang in there hopefully. Well guys, we made it 10 miles down the road from the checkpoint, and Independence is not happy. It's really not goodish noises. Sounds top end, sounds more like the captain's side. So I'm gonna bust this valve cover off quick and we'll just inspect it and see if we could visually see anything. These are solid roller lifters. So normally if you get noise on the top end, that's a smoke lifter or maybe a push rod walked out, but we'll just have to wait and see. We'll get to work here and update you soon. All right, fellers, some potentially very good news here. We might have just had a stud girdle come apart on us. As you can see here, this was laying on top of that exhaust valve down there. The rocker seems to be okay. This doesn't seem to be chewed up. There are a couple nicks on top of the valve spring here, but not like bad. This is crazy though. Look at this. The spring is laying right there. Both the bolts and the washers. That's what we need to get this reassembled. I just need to find the installation sheet on this guy here, figure out what all this needs to be set to. We're gonna also pull the other side off. I mean, one came off, the other three were within, 2 minutes of coming off. The other side's probably gonna be the same. I didn't assemble this here, so I don't know what these need to be set to. I'm just gonna Google Pocket Computer Interweb machine up a installation thing. Inside of the valve cover really took a wallop in. And that's when we figured we might be okay when we were taking this apart, because this is bulged out right here. It's kind of hard to see. There you go. See that? So I thought maybe a rocker came off or something, but this is probably the best news of the worser of what we could have news. That's what I'm saying. So hopefully it should be back on the road. The downside is the whole head unit's got to go back on. The belt's a fight to get on because we changed belt styles and we really got the tensioner wound up. So that's it's probably longer doing this than it is that, but should be on the road again tonight, which is great because I'm getting hangry, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're getting hungry?
Yeah.
So I went ahead and pulled this side because figuring if this was coming apart and we didn't see any Loctite or anything like that, most likely going to happen over here too. And it's just one of those things a guy never knows, you know. When this stuff gets put together, it is what it is. This one also, was just about ready to come apart as well. So I talked to Kevin. This is actually his engine. See the orange? And I just wanted to get his permission. I think what we're going to do for tonight until we can figure out the situation with the girdles is just completely take them off. They're really there for high RPM to keep those studs from flexing and moving and potentially, popping a push rod or something like that. But we're not pushing this engine that hard. So I think what we're going to do to get through tonight and get into Old Town is just take these girdles all the way off. And then tomorrow in the daylight, I can run into Kevin and see what he wants to do, because this is his engine and I just want to keep it, together and intact and healthy as possible. But this is great news. We'll pop this off quick, get these valve covers back on. All right, she's all back together. Jess, you want to fire it up?
Yep.
Come on. Made it to our final checkpoint, Old Town. Never been here. There's a Ferris wheel and a bunch of rides and a whole bunch of shops and stuff through here. It's really cool. Looks like quite a few folks are out stretching their legs and whatnot. I know I sure am. These seats are rough. Monte Carlo's doing good. No issues. He hasn't even had to fill up or anything yet, just sipping on the fuel. We're doing pretty good. We're just got to figure out how far to the next motel. And that's going to do it for tonight. Just had these 2 checkpoints. Trailer's doing really good. It tracks way better than I thought it would. Just hope that I don't lose a tire, because I'll never find whatever that is. So, pretty cool place though. Might have to bring the kids here. Jessica's actually calling the kids. They're back home with family right now. And we're probably fixing to go find something to eat here pretty soon. There's a roller coaster back there. Well, fellers, just got to the motel. By the time we got some grub and refueled again, it became a late one. I ain't kidding, but cars are doing good. Weather's really starting to look kind of nasty for tomorrow. We're just going to keep an eye on it, see what happens. That's going to do it for day 1 though. Independent Chevelle, first time on the track, running at 10. Monte Carlo's doing awesome. Still got day 2 through 5, so make sure to stay tuned. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you later.